Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today's story is one of the most explosive royal revelations to surface in years. A surprising voice has stepped forward, Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, and she's pulling back the curtain on what really went on during Meghan Markle's early days inside London's elite circles. New details about Meghan's time at Soho House, the private members' club where some say everything truly began, are now coming to light. And trust me, you've never heard the story told like this. From secret meetups to behavioral red flags, to the behind-the-scenes whispers that reportedly alarmed several longtime royal friends, this is a story packed with power plays, hidden motives, and jaw-dropping moments. Stick around, because what Sarah Ferguson allegedly reveals will change the entire way you look at the beginning of Meghan and Harry's whirlwind royal chapter. Let's get into it. The cameras fade in, and we open with a slow zoom on Buckingham Palace, the symbol of royal tradition and the quiet witness to decades of family secrets. But today, the whispers are no longer quiet. A new voice has emerged, and not just any voice. Sarah Ferguson, better known as Fergie, the Duchess of York, is speaking out again, and the story she shares has the royal watching world in shock. Because this time, it's about Meghan Markle. For years, there have been rumors that the real beginning of Meghan's royal journey didn't start with her famous blind date with Prince Harry in 2016. Instead, insiders have long pointed to a location that represents exclusivity, influence, and the gateway to London's hidden social world, Soho House. And according to Fergie, what happened inside those walls was far more calculated, intense, and consequential than the public ever knew. But before we get to the revelations, it's important to understand the players in this unfolding drama. Sarah Ferguson is no stranger to royal controversies, nor to the way the institution adapts, or fails to adapt, to outsiders. She entered the family as an energetic, outspoken woman marrying into a system built on silence and caution. In many ways, Fergie sees echoes of her own story in Meghan's. But while she once tried to show empathy for Meghan's struggles, something shifted behind the scenes. Now, she's allegedly ready to speak about what she witnessed, and what she heard, regarding Meghan's rise inside the private rooms of Soho House. Soho House has long been a sanctuary for celebrities, creatives, executives, and anyone with enough status or connections to get past its membership committee. It is where deals are made, where relationships begin, and where secrets remain bottled up between dim lighting and velvet furniture. Meghan was connected to Soho House for years, long before her name became synonymous with the British monarchy. In fact, some say her entire transition from actress to royal girlfriend can be traced directly through her friendships with top Soho House insiders, including Markus Anderson, the man insiders often call Meghan's fixer or social architect. According to Sarah Ferguson, it's this relationship, and the environment around it, that revealed the most shocking truths of all. Fergie reportedly first heard the whispers through friends who were longtime members of the club. These weren't tabloids, bloggers, or royal commentators. They were the types who genuinely keep secrets, sometimes for decades. And they allegedly said that Meghan's behavior inside Soho House didn't quite match the public persona she carefully cultivated later on. Fergie, according to insiders, describes Meghan's Soho House days as much more strategic than the bright, effortless fairy tale the world was sold. She said Meghan showed a strong ability to read people, to charm them, and to elevate her status in the room, not unlike many ambitious actors and networkers. But what shocked her was not the ambition itself. It was the intensity behind it. One former acquaintance allegedly told Fergie that Meghan treated Soho House not as a social club, but as a launchpad. She reportedly knew exactly whom to speak to, whom to avoid, and which people could help her reach her next chapter. It's the kind of social navigation that Hollywood rewards, but within the aristocratic circles of London, it raised eyebrows. As the story continues, Fergie describes how these whispers became louder after Meghan started dating Harry. Suddenly, those same Soho House insiders began noticing a shift. Some said they felt Meghan was rewriting her own past, softening certain details, exaggerating others, and repainting her relationships in ways that made her seem more disconnected from the entertainment industry than she actually was. But the real shock came when Fergie described hearing stories about Meghan's behind-the-scenes treatment of staff. According to those present, Meghan allegedly carried herself like a rising star even before Harry entered the picture. She reportedly expected a level of service some found uncomfortable. One insider described her as being Hollywood particular. Drinks returned for tiny imperfections. Menus questioned. Staff members addressed with a tone that suggested impatience disguised as charm. Fergie, who has had her own experiences with royal staff and private club staff alike, allegedly viewed this as a red flag. Not because demanding people are rare in elite environments, they are not, but because the behavior hinted at something she recognized all too well, someone trying to project control in a world where they didn't yet have formal power. But perhaps the most dramatic chapter of Fergie's recollection centers on Meghan's relationship with Markus Anderson. She says many didn't understand just how deep his influence ran. Anderson was not just a friend. He reportedly acted as Meghan's confidant, mentor, gatekeeper, and guide into some of the most exclusive rooms in London. While some viewed the friendship as genuine, others inside Soho House whispered that Anderson was the architect behind Meghan's introduction to the right people at the right time. Fergie allegedly heard that Anderson orchestrated key introductions for Meghan, not just socially, but strategically. He knew who sympathized with the celebrity world and who disliked it. He knew who admired American stars and who dismissed them. And Meghan, according to these accounts, played the game excellently. But here's where the story takes a twist. Fergie reportedly said that after Meghan and Harry went public, a subtle but undeniable tension formed between Meghan's Soho House world and the royal household. Members of the royal family, including senior courtiers, had long been wary of private club culture. They didn't like environments where celebrities mingled freely, where cameras were banned but gossip wasn't, and where influence could shift overnight. When Meghan walked into the royal system with her Soho House circle still intact, Fergie claims some members of the family immediately questioned the intentions of those around her. One insider allegedly told Fergie that they felt Meghan arrived not just as a fiancée, but as someone already backed by a powerful social machine. They worried that her existing network would become an invisible extension of her influence, something that had never happened before with royal partners. But the real shock came when Fergie mentioned that Meghan's behavior was compared to two controversial royal figures of the past, Wallis Simpson and Fergie herself. The comparison wasn't about scandal alone. It was about the perception that Meghan knew how to navigate a room of influential people, charm them, and subtly build a narrative around herself. And according to Fergie, not everyone in the palace felt comfortable with that. She allegedly described how some senior figures were alarmed by Meghan's confidence during early private events. Meghan's ease with VIP guests, her polished conversation style, and her ability to command attention reminded some of past outsiders who struggled to integrate into royal life because their charisma threatened rigid traditions. But the most shocking moment of all came when Fergie allegedly revealed a story about Meghan's first major private encounter with several royals, including an instance at a private dinner where Meghan reportedly dominated the conversation in a way that caught the attention of nearly everyone present. Insiders allegedly told Fergie that Meghan spoke at length about her activism, her Hollywood career, and her experiences at Soho House. She was confident, articulate, and engaging, but some felt she was performing rather than connecting. The royal family has always valued humility in private, even if they exude confidence in public. Fergie reportedly said that after the dinner, a highly placed royal figure quietly remarked, "She's brilliant, but she's not one of us." That line echoed through the family for months. But Fergie's account doesn't end there. She went further, describing moments that she felt defined Meghan's early royal identity, moments rooted in her Soho House past. One story reportedly involved Meghan bringing certain Soho House expectations into palace life. According to insiders, she once requested a particular staffer for an event, someone who had previously worked at the club and whom she trusted. But palace aides pushed back, explaining that royal staff assignments weren't flexible based on personal preference. Meghan, accustomed to the tailored experience of Soho House, allegedly didn't respond well. It wasn't a tantrum, according to Fergie's recounting, but it was a clash of cultures, a moment when two worlds collided. And it was just the beginning. Another twist reveals that Fergie claims Meghan's Soho House connections were discussed repeatedly among senior courtiers as they struggled to understand her worldview. Unlike Kate Middleton, who entered royal life from a British background and understood its social codes, Meghan arrived with a very different set of priorities shaped by the entertainment industry and reinforced by the exclusive club culture. According to Fergie, this contrast made Meghan's transition far more complicated behind the scenes than the public ever realized. But the story takes yet another unexpected turn when Fergie describes hearing about Meghan's alleged frustrations with royal rules that seemed outdated compared to the freedom she experienced within Soho House's walls. For example, Meghan reportedly didn't understand why she couldn't speak openly about certain causes she cared about. She had been used to having free-flowing conversations about politics, social justice, and women's rights in private club discussions. But the monarchy demanded neutrality. Fergie claimed that Meghan saw these restrictions as silencing, not as tradition. And this, according to Fergie, is where everything began to unravel. Meghan's Soho House days, she said, created an internal conflict. On one hand, Meghan loved the intellectual and social freedom she had before joining the royal family. On the other, she loved Harry and wanted to carve out a modern role for herself. But the palace expected something different, something far more controlled. Fergie allegedly believes Meghan tried to merge these two worlds, but the attempt created friction everywhere, with staff, with courtiers, and even between Harry and the royal household. As the narrative deepens, Fergie also reportedly described conversations she had, or heard, about Meghan's increasingly close reliance on Markus Anderson even after becoming a royal. Some insiders allegedly questioned why Meghan continued to lean on Soho House advisors instead of palace experts. Others worried that private confidants might influence royal decisions, even unintentionally. This concern reportedly reached a boiling point when Meghan and Harry began planning their public projects. Some courtiers allegedly felt Meghan's team was trying to push the monarchy into more Hollywood-style ventures, something the palace was not prepared for. And for the first time, Fergie's account suggests that this clash wasn't just cultural, it was strategic. Meghan wanted independence. The palace wanted control. But in the middle of this, Fergie claims she saw something no one else did, a growing sense of isolation around Meghan. She said Meghan felt misunderstood by the royal family and judged unfairly by those who didn't know her Soho House world. Meghan reportedly felt more comfortable with creatives, activists, and entertainers than with aristocrats and courtiers. Fergie says this isolation hardened Meghan, sharpened her focus, and led her to become more protective of her inner circle. She grew closer to her Los Angeles and Toronto friends, and more distant from royal advisors. This, according to Fergie, created even deeper division behind the scenes. The most dramatic part of Fergie's alleged revelation comes near the end. She claims Meghan's Soho House days left a permanent imprint on her identity, one that never fully aligned with the institution she married into. Meghan's confidence, ambition, and strategic networking were strengths in the entertainment world but seen as threats in the royal one. Fergie reportedly believes the clash was inevitable. But she also said something unexpected, that Meghan was never malicious. She simply operated according to the rules of the world she came from, a world of connections, influence, and personal branding, a world where survival depended on visibility, not silence. As the script draws to its conclusion, the camera cuts back to Buckingham Palace, the centuries-old symbol of stability, and the narration softens. Sarah Ferguson's alleged revelations paint a picture not of a villain, but of a woman navigating two worlds that could never coexist peacefully. Meghan's Soho House days shaped her confidence, her friendships, and her approach to public life. But they also created the perception that she was a disruptive force, someone who didn't fit the traditional mold. And according to Fergie, the royal family never forgave that. The story ends on a note of contemplation. Whether Meghan's club connections were harmless friendships or strategic stepping stones, they marked the beginning of a journey that transformed the monarchy forever. And now, with Fergie speaking out, the world is seeing those early days in an entirely new light.